Alright, howdy all, Phil here from the Next 72 Hours coming to you from home, and tonight we're going to look at how to make the Hobo stove that we saw in the last video we did. So to make these it's fairly simple, and the majority of the items will come from what you've got around the home and also the recycle bin. But what you'll need is a tin. I've got two here, both of these came from my work colleagues in the recycle bin. This is a small tuna one, and this is a mackerel tin. I just wanted to see if there was any difference using a thinner stove or tin, and also in a different shape. You'll also need wax. These are just some plain candles I got from the supermarket. They were very cheap, I think 7 for $3 or $4. And the good thing about these is we can pull out these wicks in the middle, they run all the way through, and we can use those for some pyrotechnic videos and fuses we're going to do a bit later on. The next main ingredient you'll need is cardboard, which is what I'm recording this on. This again came from the recycle bin, so there's no cost at all. You can do without this, but I've just used a fabric cutter here. I'm going to use that to score the cardboard and cut it out to the right shape, and I've used a ruler and a pencil. You can do it by sight and just use a pair of scissors. So let's move on now. We'll go melt this wax, we'll cut up the cardboard, and we'll put these together so you can see how simple it is. Alright, so because I'm cutting on the table, I'm just using a mat underneath this cardboard. I'm going to take the trimmer here. I've measured this cardboard and pre-scored it so that it's the same width or depth as this can here. Then we're just going to cut along here. So that we don't cut through the table there. Alright, we've got one there. Oh. Alright, so there hopefully we should have enough cardboard to make that first stove there. And now what we need to do is go and melt these candles and get that wax nice and hot. So we'll do that now. We've got our wax here, it's melted, it's still fairly liquid, it's cooling down a bit, so it's starting to solidify on the sides. And you can see there's that wick material on the inside there. And we'll keep that for later, so we're just going to leave it in there. And what we'll do is we'll take this wax to the side. We'll grab our tin that we've got prepared here, and we'll go ahead and make the actual stove. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of our cardboard that we've cut out here. We're going to grab it at the end, and we're going to roll this as tight as possible to form the inside of the stove here. So once it gets going, it becomes a bit easier. Now these really are great little stoves. They're inexpensive, they're easy to make, they can go on a plane with you, there's no issues with that. They're not highly flammable or explosive, so they can be taken around the places for relief efforts and so on. So what I might do is, once I've got this one made, I might grab the baby formula tin that we haven't been using and cut that down in height because it's a bit long, and make a larger stove out of it and see what sort of cooking time we can get out of a bigger stove and how much water we can cook. Because if we say we got 2 hours and 20 out of the last one, then this one we might estimate to give us, oh, I don't know, maybe an hour and 45. Because it's slightly smaller, then we might estimate that a bigger tin like that could give us, a considerable amount of cooking time. So it could easily be used to cook a meal for a family or something like that, or boil multiple amounts of, a larger quantity of water in a disaster scenario. So there's no problem with transporting these. So hopefully we've got that wrapped up there, and we're just going to put it into the tin there. Comes up a little bit high. think we will get away with that. So the next step is for us to put the stove there. The side bits come up a little bit high, but I think we're going to get away with that. And the next step for us really is to add the wax to the stove. So I've got the wax still here. I'll take the little scoop and we will pour the wax onto the stove and let it soak in there. What we've done is we've heated it up a bit more. We really need it to be quite warm. And then we're just going to scoop it on the top there, and hopefully it dissolves. There we go, that's much better. You see it bubbles away there. And it's filling up all those gaps in that corrugated cardboard. And that's what we're looking for. Didn't quite have that texture before. Alright, looks like we're reaching the maximum sort of saturation point there. The last thing we really want to do is rip off a piece of cardboard. Just get a small strip like that, maybe a bit finer still, and we want to bend it in half like so, and we're just going to stick that in the middle there. We might just... Alright, and this little bit here is just going to act as a sort of wick for us to get that lit. So we'll just dip it down on here so it gets a bit of a saturation to it of wax. We don't really need to. Soaking up a bit there. You can see we've come to that point where if we're pushing like this, the wax is flowing over, so we've definitely filled it enough. And we'll leave that there, we'll just bring it up, and that's basically the tuna tin stove finished there. When we go to use it, we're just going to light this little wick here, and that will burn down the middle and ignite the whole stove. So this one's a bit ugly unfortunately, but that's the basic premise behind making them. If you've got your wax nice and hot, you've got your cardboard cut out, put it in there. It's only a few seconds to make a stove. We'll make up a larger one as well, and we'll come back later on in one of the videos and we'll just do a test to see how much water we can boil off one of these stoves. And we'll take this one as well and we'll light it up and see how long it takes to boil a litre of water when this is set. So this will definitely take probably till overnight to set up nice enough to test out. It's very hot at the moment and there's a lot of wax in there. So we'll come back to that in another video. Thanks very much for watching, and please leave any comments or queries below.